Hey, good to see you. Thanks for coming. This is another episode of Wireframe brought to you by Design Systems House. I'm your host, Donnie D'Amato, and today we're going to announce Undefined. Yeah, I've been talking about Undefined on the show for a couple of weeks or maybe even months now at this point. So if you are a fan of the show, you probably already know about this. But what's important about it today is that I've announced the first date for the first event, which is June 29th, 2026. All right. So it is a little while away, about a little over a month away, but I wanted to make sure that there was ample time to do the marketing for the event and make sure any of the questions could be answered and things like that. And also to make this episode of Wireframe kind of to show you what the event is kind of going to be about. So a lot of good interest already so far, which I really appreciate. But I also understand that because it's a new format that I'm introducing, there's certainly going to be questions about how this is going to operate. So I wanted to take this time to kind of explain how the event is going to operate. So a little bit about why I'm making Undefined is mostly because I'm kind of bored of the same old tech events that we've seen over and over again. So, normally what we see out there is either some sort of networking event, which is very awkward for introverts to try to meet people because sometimes it's difficult starting up a conversation, or you'll see a panel or some other presentation where there's a stage and people talk and you kind of just sit and listen, right? So those are the two main kinds of ways of having a meetup in the tech industry. And I really wanted to see something different. So I took a lot of time of thinking about this. In fact, this is, as much as I've worked on the platform for this for 6 months, the idea has been rattling around in my head for over a year. And I'm really excited to start this thing. And I think there's a real interest that could come from this as long as people understand what the event's all about. So let's actually talk about what goes on in the event. So the first and most important thing that you need to know is that there will be food. There is a ticket price of $40 for the event that will include the food. In the ticket that you submit, there's a questionnaire, and inside of that questionnaire, you can include if there's any dietary restrictions or any other inclusive things that I should take into account when preparing this event for you. This is very much for you, as much as I'm kind of curating the event and trying to put this together. Depending on the number of people that submit to be a part of this thing, I will curate those people and the game together to be the best experience that I could potentially provide to the group and for, of course, the results of it, which we'll talk about in a little while. The event should start around 6:30. Which basically a light networking. I know I just said I don't like networking, but there's going to be people in the room. You're going to be mingling. You're going to be having some light bites. It's kind of inevitable for these things that there'll always be a little bit of networking. But the main event of the night will be the game, and we're going to talk about the game in a little bit. It'll show you kind of a example of the game here on the show. But after the game, then there'll be again some wind down networking, and then we'll all kind of wrap up somewhere around 8:30. This is going to be hosted at least the first couple of events at Brain Station, which is in Soho in New York City, 138 Crosby Street, I believe. It's very close to the BDFM and 6 trains down there, so fairly easy to get to. Shouldn't be too much of a difficulty for folks that are in the neighborhood or in Manhattan or in the 5 boroughs in general. that's, I think, the most of the logistics there. There is a code of conduct that is associated with the event. You can see the event page for the link for that code of conduct. Additionally, for the first event, I expect to have some videography just to create also some hype behind the event for a sizzle reel later on. Hopefully, if this thing is exciting, which I hope it is. I hope it gets exciting there because the big deal about this is interactivity. You are no longer meant to sit in the chair and just listen to what's being presented to you. I want you to share your experience, your feedback, your story about what you're doing in tech today with your peers. That could potentially be helpful to them in their journey and what they're doing. Even folks that are, more senior than you would absolutely love to hear what you are feeling and what you're doing in the space out there. So I think this is a great opportunity for everybody to share their parts in the community. Yeah. All right. So, with all that being said, about 5 minutes worth of me yapping over here. Let's actually look at the platform, the game. Now, if you're familiar with Dropbox, sorry, not Dropbox, I put some things together. Jackbox TV or Dropout TV's Game Changer, I put those two things together. I apologize. But if you're familiar with those formats of these games where you basically have some prompts and then players respond to those prompts, that's effectively what this will be just for the tech industry. With a larger group of people than normal, and hopefully it all goes according to plan. So let's take a look at the computer, and I will show you what you will see. Here we go. Let's go here. All right. So here's my face also, just in case you wanted to pay attention to that too. So right now what you see is the game list that I have prepared so far. So you'll see 12 games here, and in a particular event, we will most likely play about 3 of them. They last roughly 15 to 20 minutes each, I believe, based on my initial testing. And that's going to be heavily dependent on the answers that we provide and the way that we all respond to those answers. So in order to do this, we're going to pick a game, and I'm going to pick, let's see here, story points. So let's start this game here. And as you can see, there's a QR code. And if you're watching live, you can, of course, try to sign in here by using your phone. By the time this ends up having a recording, this QR code would no longer work. But I'm just going to show you how you do this. So I have my phone here, and I have the camera open on the phone. So all I'm going to do is have the phone go to the QR code here, click the link that comes up, and there'll be a join the game screen. And in the join the game screen, there's 2 fields. The first field is the room code, which will already be applied because it's already embedded inside of this QR code, which is really cool. The other thing that you need to do is enter the email address that you used to sign up for the event. So it's important that that is the same email address, and make sure that everyone who's paid for a ticket is accounted for inside of the system. So I'm just going to put in an email address here. Here we go. Cool. And then after you do that, you hit the join game button. And on the top, it'll say waiting for the game to start. And then on my screen, it actually says 1 player joined. You can see it there on the top here. I'll have my cursor. 1 player joined, right? So that's me that I just joined on the game. So the expectation here is that I can see the number of people that are joined the game. If there's any problems, I'll be able to, address them inside of the room. Right? So once we have all the people who have signed up joined in the game, then I could, of course, start the game. So I'm going to go ahead and start the game here. And you'll hear a little sound that kind of like lets the audience know that the new slide has appeared. So here's the new slide. And the first prompt here that everyone's meant to kind of provide an input to is a startup so bad it will definitely get funded. So that's what's on my phone right now. It actually says the same thing, but there's a input field. And in the input field, I'm meant to write a response to a startup that is so bad it will definitely get funded. So this is an opportunity for you to think of an answer. It could be something that you've seen out there in the wild that's so bad that it, actually did get funded. It's totally reasonable. Or something that you might just kind of make up on the spot. Okay, and there'll be plenty of time for you to think about what that answer would be. On the bottom right-hand corner here is actually the number of responses I've received. So I haven't put anything in yet, so there's no responses yet. But let's think of something like a startup that's so bad it will definitely be funded. So let's see. I'm looking around the room that I'm in right now and trying to get inspiration from areas here. Let's see here. Um, how about um, hmm. I have a whole bunch of books in front of me. I have Legos. Well, actually, like Lego resale is a huge thing out there. Maybe there's like something about like Lego resale, or maybe like Lego investments, right? Maybe there's something there. I don't know. We'll say Lego investments. What the heck? Okay, so after you type in the answer, there'll be a submit button. So you hit the submit button, and once that's there, you can see that I have the one of one. So there's only me playing right now. But as people come in and enter their answers, we'll get responses in there. And if the answer is submitted, you'll see a check mark over here. So let's assume that everyone has submitted their answers. We'll go to the next slide. And here we can see the backlog. So the backlog is basically showing all of the responses that were in the room. They don't identify people. They just basically show the responses. So if you don't want to be identified, which I recommend to keep it more anonymous, don't put any qualifying information in there that kind of singles you out. So we could see what was submitted. So Lego investments, okay. And it's entirely possible that a person doesn't necessarily know what you were thinking when you type that in, and that's kind of be important for later parts of this prompt. But I, as a host, will go through some of these answers in here, kind of explain, talking about them, explaining them, what my thoughts are, maybe even asking if anybody wants to comment on it out loud. Speaking of comments, though, on your screen while we go over some of these data visualizations that'll come up, there's going to be another prompt on your device that you can actually type out the reason why you answered this way, right? So it's entirely possible maybe you want to provide some more detail in there. When we're seeing data visualizations, the prompts that come up here talking about the data visualization that you entered, or I'm sorry, the data that you entered, that data is not going to be shown on screen. It might be shown in the report later on, but if you want to provide more detail about the reason why you answered in that particular way, could be helpful as feedback for folks looking at the final report at the end, which I'll show you. So let's assume that we went over a couple of these different prompts here, or these answers, and go to the next slide. So how hard would each of these be to build? So on my screen here, I have a point distribution. So I'll have a whole bunch of these prompts that were provided. So they'll be here on the screen. But you're able to assign these like chip points to each one of these things about the thing that you find would be most hardest to build. So because there's only one of them, I'm going to assign all my chips to that one and add this here. And I wish I could show you what was on my screen, but ultimately you're just going to be tapping this plus button to add more points to show you or show the system how hard it would be to build this thing, which is the Lego investments thing that I'm talking about here. Once you've applied all of your chips, I'm going to hit the submit button here. And again, you'll see the one of one on the bottom. And again, I'm going to be, driving the event to kind of speak about what you're supposed to be doing, the things that I'm thinking about, maybe even calling out the people that want to talk about what they're thinking about. Totally reasonable. So as people are submitting those things, we'll assume that they're all finished now. We'll go to the next slide and see what we got. Cool. So we see now the level of effort that's required for these items that were submitted. We have the Lego investments that had all the 10 chips that is assigned to it, because that's what I assigned here. Again, you can explain why you answered that way during this data visualization slide. So if there's something that makes you feel a particular way about why Lego investments was the most important thing over something else, you can go ahead and submit it here. Completely optional at this point. But let's go on to the next slide here. I'd actually want to work on this. So on the screen now is effectively this agree and disagree kind of situation, almost like a Tinder swiping experience. And you will get a set of these that you will determine if you wanted to actually do this thing. Right. So as opposed to the last thing, which was basically saying if it was going to be hard to build or not. Right. This thing is saying, do you even want to build this in the first place? Right. Do you actually want this thing? It could be, really weird, or something that's like, actually, you know what? I might actually want to build this thing, as hard as it is to build. So I'm going to go ahead and say Lego investments. Honestly, I don't think I would build that, so I'm going to say disagree, and I'm going to swipe left. Okay. After you swipe or disagree or agree on those things, we'll have a full submission over here. We'll go to the next one and see. Most wanted despite the effort. Yeah, so no results is so because I didn't want to build the thing, so there's no results. I can imagine that in the actual game itself, if there was a number of people who agreed on particular things, we would see actual results here. But in this particular case, because I just said disagree to the one thing, there's no results, such as life. And that's the end of this game, I believe. Yeah. So at the end of the game, you get this report, and this report is something that you will actually receive as a PDF after the game, about 24 hours later or so. And like I said, we'll have about 3 of these games that we play. They're all different ones as well. There's different kinds of prompts in there. Things like drawing is in there. There's also, trying to think of the other ones that we have in there. Actually, I can go back to the games and find out. Let's see here, because all my games are listed here. So yeah, we have multiple choice that is in there. We have the open-ended versions. The multiple choice could be exclusive or not exclusive, so you'll have like different options that you'll potentially choose from. Or in some cases, we might even have you choose from existing prompts that other people have put in. Right, so someone has put in some potential options that you could choose from at a later prompt. So that's kind of how the game kind of overall works here, and hopefully this is going to be a fun time. Again, I only have 12 games so far, but the important thing for me is that once I have a group of people who have signed up, I can look through those questions that the answers of the questions that people have submitted, and cater a particular game for those people. And I really, again, want that to be a special experience for the people who are going to be signing up. So this is a lot of the reason why there's a fee or ticket price for this, is not just because of the food, but also because I'm doing a lot of work to make this a great experience for the people who are signing up. So that's why it's not free. I mean, it's totally possible that I could be in a free event if there was no food and a lot of less work, maybe doing like a Kahoot or something. But this is a custom platform that I've built for the community to play this game and to find out about each other. I want this report to be not only fun that you get at the end, but also informative that you could potentially bring back to your teams and be like, oh, I didn't know X about us, or I didn't know Y about this feature or this reason or this implementation. There's a game in there that's called Afraid of the Dark, that's talking about dark mode and the trials and tribulations of us putting that stuff together. So there's a lot that can go into this, and it only really works with you. So please visit undefined.ds.house. You can go to ds.house and the website there. There's a link for you to go directly to Undefined. And on that site, you'll have an event calendar on the top right-hand corner. In fact, it is currently on Stella right now. You can see it on the top over here. Let's see, where's my cursor? There it is right there. The event calendar is sitting up on top over here. And yeah, you could subscribe to the calendar to know when the next events are if the 29th isn't working for you. But I hope to see you on June 29th. There are 2 additional events already scheduled at Brain Station. I'm not releasing those dates just yet, but they are already scheduled, already in the book, so there'll be at least 2 more. But please make an attempt to come to this first one because I want to have some really successful first go at this and really drive up the excitement in the community for this new format that I hope to also maybe even expand into other things later on, as if I wasn't already too busy. Last, very, very important thing, I have stickers. So if you want a sticker, I will have them on me very often while I'm out with other different events out there. So please ask me for a sticker, because I think the logo is pretty cool, right? And last thing, I know you're going to ask about the jacket. Yes, I'm absolutely wearing the jacket during the events. I mean, it's a 90s game show kind of feel, so I mean, you need the jacket for that. So that's why I'm wearing the jacket today. I think that's going to be it. So again, last plug for Undefined. Please give it an opportunity to try it out. And I hope it's a good time for everyone. Again, I'm going to be working really hard to make sure that it is. And I'll see you on the June 29th. But that's our show. Thank you so much for watching. Before you go, please help out this show, Wireframe, by smashing the like and subscribe button, and just, the next time that we go live. And feel free to continue the conversation on our official Design Systems Discord by visiting discord.ds.house. There it is on the bottom. Plain us in those comments, and I'll see you on the internet and at Undefined. Bye.